That's right. This is What's Good Phoenix.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
your host, Awer.
And I'm DJ Tranzo.
And today we have a special guest for you. We have the DJ Melo that's in the house.
My man Melo. Hey, hey.
What up, what up? Thank you for joining us today, brother.
Oh, yeah.
What's good, man? How you been, man?
Chilling.
Right on. Good.
Traffic.
Yeah. Hectic today.
Yeah.
I'm so excited, man, to have my man Melo with us today, for real. Old school OG. I've known Melo since the beginning of my DJ career, or even DJ hobby.
Oh, nice.
So, man, he's like a brother almost, because I've known him like forever.
Yep.
Dope. As I was saying, I've seen you a few times, around. I've seen you at the Oak Street Mural Alley. I've seen you there. I've seen you at Trill a few times and stuff. And I dig the beard, brother. We're beard brothers, man. Yeah, word, man. So yeah, man. So getting into the podcast, man. Thank you for joining us, man, and coming to so we can get a little story from you and kind of get your journey. You know what I mean? And with that said, man, you know what I mean? Just kind of give us a little backstory on who you are, man, where you're from, and some of the contributions from back in the day.
Oh man. Well,
We let you start. Where you want to start?
Moved out here in '92 from California, La Puente. Been here ever since, pretty much. Contributions, man. I don't know. Been DJing here a while, pretty much since I got here. Still going. Running on fumes, but hey, still going.
Yeah.
Still hanging in there.
Yeah,
Word, man.
Yeah.
So, were you DJing before you came to AZ?
I knew how to DJ. I had probably done like a party and like a family member's wedding. That was about it. You know what I mean? Not until I moved here that I really got to start going out and playing.
Wow. So one of my questions is, like back in the day, like what inspired you? Like how did you get into the craft of DJing? I mean, like we spoke before in the podcast on the 4 different elements of hip hop culture, and how we were either inspired by one or two of those elements. But when was like the first time, man, where you saw like, you heard the music, there was a specific DJ that you were inspired by, man, that just really, really just like hit you, bro? Or like, yeah, man, I want to get into this.
My sister's husband, my brother-in-law, Raul, rest in peace. He had turntables at his house, and he wouldn't let me touch them. You know what I mean? I would see them use them, but I wasn't really like supposed to get on them. But when he wasn't home, my sister would let me get on.
Shout out, sister.
Yeah,
Word.
I noticed they had like pitch control. You could speed it up, slow it down. And when I'd go home, I'd think about it, and I'd listen to like their mixes, which they didn't really know how to mix. Like, how, on beat, I guess, And I just thought about it. I'm like, well, if this song is slower, shouldn't you just speed it up and like a scale, almost like balancing a scale,
Yeah.
And it just made sense to me. That was probably when I was 11. But I mean, I didn't know about like the culture, hip hop culture back then, I mean, I knew the elements, but I didn't know they were all connected and
Yes.
and all that.
Yeah. So at an early age, you started doing some experimenting, and messing with the turntables and things like that. That's awesome. That's really cool, man.
And you know what else I saw? The Michael Jackson video of Thriller.
Yeah. I remember that.
You remember how like it was real long, and it was only like the verses on the song, and there was no chorus. And it was like edited or spliced together or like 4-track together. I was like, how are they doing that? That's not how it goes on my record, And I would use the pause button to try to emulate it, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
trying to be like it.
I was telling Adrian about your pause tapes back in the day, and they were pretty infamous, man. They were dope. You had some dope pause tapes, especially the B-boy pause tapes.
Those were 4-track, but yeah, they were all paused. You know what I mean?
Although, okay.
Yeah.
That's dope, man. So with that said, like since like DJing and you were inspired by that, you know what I mean, and just kind of really, it really just like took you, man. Do you remember like any specific, like we talk about like movies or certain like albums that you listen to that inspired you, where you started to see like there's something going on over here. There's something that with the culture, with all these 4 elements that they're putting together, is there something that stands out to you? Whether it's a specific movie or maybe an album.
He said,
He said, let me think about that.
I don't even think I understand the question. Wait, that inspired, like what? Where I picked up on hip hop? What hip hop was?
Yeah. Like for us, like for me, for instance, where I started getting into it is immediately started seeing like movies like Beat Street, Breaking, things like that. That's where I started to see something that was, there was something that was going on that was different. You know what I mean? And I wanted to be a part of that, whether it was b-boying, because you typically see like dancers back in the day that are just like performers and stuff, but this was very unique. It was very different. So something that maybe inspired you that you saw, you know what I mean? Whether it could be like at a park, you know what I mean? It seemed like an event and people are performing, or a specific DJ. Anybody in particular?
No, not really. I mean, I remember seeing Beat Street, Breaking. So yeah, maybe I did know the culture a little bit, but nah, I didn't know. I was like into disco music and new wave and like we had K-Day in California, so I would hear rap, electro, and funk all on one station. But it was hard to get, real hard to get. But like on the weekends they would mix. Yeah. And I would only really get it clear when I go stay at my sister's house. I think she lived in Huntington Park or something.
Sure. So would you say you have like a lot of disco influence to this day, like in your music, that you can continue that, like some of those older genres that you put in your music?
I would say definitely. Huh?
Oh, he's nice. the Latin disco king right here.
Right on. I
mean, just even the way I put my mixes, I think I mix more on a longer blend type of DJ than a quick cut.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I still have little spurts where it's disco's all I listen to, or electro's all I listen to.
Yeah, word.
Till I get tired of it.
Word.
So let's when you first moved here, let's talk about when you first moved to Phoenix and your experiences and who you met, and how did you get into the culture of hip hop at that time?
All right, yeah, that was a turning point, because when you're a kid, when you live it was like moving here was kind of like a good like clear the slate kind of thing, Yeah. Nobody knew me, and just met people, and I met this dude named Paul. He's kind of like a business minded dude in high school. I moved here my senior year, and he knew I could DJ, and I had these cheap turntables, and he just said, you know what if I buy you records and you DJ, at parties, we'll throw parties, and I was like, cool. So he was just buying me records, We'd go like once a week, get 3, 4, 5 records,
Yeah.
What was the question though?
Like who did you hook up with?
Oh yeah. So I would think with there, and then started going to like raves and things like that too. Through like people I met through like Faustina and Joanne, Tiffany and them, Cujo, all them dudes back then.
That was the whole early rave era too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what was going on before. It probably was going on already. You know what I mean? And I met like Pete and Eddie, and
there was a lot of DJs in the early days, like Pete and Eddie, who were doing a lot of underground parties. In the early '90s was like the spawn of the rave era here.
Yeah, they would let me on. I would go to parties on 27th Ave in McKinley, where I think it was Point Blank DJs. I'll just ask, you know what I mean? Just, hey, can I get on, spin a couple tunes, and
that's how we used to do in the house party days, man. We'd just show up a record and be like, hey, let me on.
I'd be like, can I just use yours? I didn't even have records on me or nothing. And I'm surprised they let me, you know what I mean? Because I don't think I would let somebody, I don't think I would do the same, sad to say, but, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. Somebody just walked up and was like, yo, can I just grab your records and play with them? And I'll be like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, and I was real goofy too all the time too. So I don't know. They probably took it as a joke and let me, and then they were just like, all right, they would keep letting me here and there,
I remember back in the day, like seeing, house DJs and stuff, and that was dope to see that. I mean, especially like people, different DJs showing up, maybe for an hour or two and stuff like that. That's dope, man. That's cool.
Yeah. So who's an old school, like a 80s era DJ that you would say is inspiring to you?
Oh man.
I wouldn't say the early days, but the 80s era.
Well, from the 80s, yeah, like Tony G, Julio G from the Mixmasters show on KDAY. even just like guys on the radio, they would play like OPP and just simple mixing, but they would have like these different remix records that were like remix services. And I remember thinking like, you can't buy that at Tower Record. Where do you get those? And at my high school one day, Richard Humpty Vision was like doing like a noontime promotion or something, you know, the station was there. And again, I asked him too, hey bro, can I jump on the tables? And he let me. And I asked him, I asked him, you know, what are these records that you play? I hear you play them and it's not like the 12-inch, you know, what is it? And he showed me they were like, you know, you have to pay $20 or something for like 4 or 5 songs. They're compilations, you know, but remixed, different, like edits or, you know, I don't know how to describe it.
There's this DJ Remix Service records that they started
know.
back in the day, and they still do a lot of them nowadays, but MP3 format. But yeah.
So yeah,
there
just
was
like
a lot
radio,
of just, you would make a edit or a remix or an extended, and they would press them on vinyl because that's the only
they were
point.
like subscription, remember? They were like, you had to pay like $180 for the month or something, like, I mean, for the year. And they would send you a record every month, but they would sell them in stores. You just had to know where to get them. And
yeah,
I didn't know back then. I was still a kid, you know, like 15, something like that.
When you came here, were there a certain group of other DJs and friends and people that you met that you kind of connected with, and you started to build, you know, at you know, within the community of DJing?
I don't think so. I mean, I just did my own thing. I mean, there were people doing stuff, but I didn't know them. You know, I mean, I'm sure Shy was out. AL3 was out already. The Direct Force and them. And people tell me about other DJ crews, which I would like to learn more about them, to be honest with you. Wish I like Mix in Motion. I don't know those guys, but
I remember Mix in Motion. Shout out Mix in Motion.
Maybe I do know them. I don't know. Maybe I just don't remember.
Well, there was a whole era. I remember when I came in DJing in the early '90s. There was a whole era of DJs that were on their way out, so to speak, of that sort of scene. They were moving up to the clubs, they were moving to bigger things, and they weren't doing the warehouse, you know, parties, the house parties that the up and coming DJs were doing, you know.
Yeah, I think I moved here right at the beginning of, I mean, you know, at the early part of like where I think Phoenix started changing, I think.
Yeah,
you know?
there was a whole transition at that point.
Yeah.
During that time, were you getting hired for gigs? Were you just doing like house parties? Were you doing some like, you know, other things other than that?
Not really, just house parties. House parties.
House parties were the thing back then, man.
Yeah.
From 92 to like 2000 probably, you know?
Wow.
Yeah.
So you also came during that time in the 90s, right? Correct? Because you came... we had a really big, you know, graffiti explosion, graffiti art and stuff like that, which is being one of the elements of the hip hop culture. Did you used to write graffiti? Did you dabble in that a little bit too?
Yeah, for sure. I was writing Cenis from DMS crew.
Right on.
Yeah, no, I would say that's really what got me into hip hop. That's where I started putting together like the elements and all that. You know that everything was connected, like the Breaking movies, you know, or like you know, like that. And then there was books too. I remember just going to girls' houses that would write, and they'd have like a book on graffiti, and I'd look through it, and I'm like, they'd have lists of records in the back and a bunch of pictures of pieces, and you know, and I remember I'd look at the records, be like, whoa, that's a hip hop record? All right, yeah, I guess you could spin that, you know, and you know, and kind of opening up more, and I kind of gravitated more toward that than the rave scene, you know. It was far. That was all like downtown and east side, and I lived in the west, so I just had to stick around there, you know. And then we got a little group of crews that kind of joined up: SUS, STR, DMS, you know.
Shout out.
Yeah, man. Shout the homies for reals. And we'd hang out at my boy's house, HQ. You know, and we'd just hang out all the time, and I'd have the turntables there. We'd hook up mics, you know, go out bombing, and, you know, eventually fools got into PC. And I didn't really get into that, though. You know, I didn't move on.
Yeah, that's my next question is, would you consider yourself during that time, were you mostly just bombing, just doing that? Or are you getting more into the complex, like, you know, letter bending and piecing and stuff like that?
I did a couple, but no. I by that time I had already been caught a couple times.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I was like, you know what? I better stick to the DJing. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
I was just like, yeah.
Now, do you have any of the older flyers that maybe you were on for these house parties with, maybe a graffiti artist did up some of these flyers? Do you have anything like
Definitely.
that?
I think I got them on Facebook if you want to see them.
Word.
Sure.
Yeah. Right on. Cool.
Man, we should do a flyer conversation, man. Like, pull up a flyer and get everybody who was involved in that party.
Man, I wish I could. That would be tight.
So we'll get the one that Melo's on, and
Man, I wish I could remember everybody or everything too, but I just can't shout everybody. I can't.
So DMS, you were in DMS US TR.
Yep.
And tell me how that came about in the beginning.
Me and my boy Echo, we had a crew called PPK. We were
I remember them.
We were rapping, and then we started bombing PPK.
PPK was
Phoenician Funk Clan. Phoenician Funk Clan. And I think we joined up with a crew called LSR, and they had already switched to DMS. And then they just hit us up, you guys want to join, you want to get in, go hit some grills, and we were like, all right, cool, what I mean? We pretty much jumped onto that. And then, there's so many stories, so many origins of where we came from. But yeah, that's probably.
So you mentioned Echo, that's the homie. So how did you meet Echo?
There was these dudes I used to kick with. Remember I told you about the dude that would buy me records, and this little crew of dudes that went to Trevor Brown, and
you were going to.
I was going to Trevor Brown. But James and the other homies went to Maryville. So I don't know. Anyways, they came over one day to there, and they said this guy's got beats, and they told me these guys got lyrics, and it was just like that. I left my turntables, and I met that dude that day, and we clicked right away. You know what I mean? We both had shredded pants.
I remember that.
Yeah. So we just kind of clicked right off that, and then just kept cool after that.
Word. And
so
now
shout out Echo,
Yeah, shout out to Echo. Yeah, I met him. I've known of him way back in the day, man. And I've always heard of him. Didn't meet him. I had the honor of meeting him one day when Muchacha lived there.
Oh yeah.
And when she introduced him to him, it took me a while to really process what was going on. And I was like, wait a minute, did you say Echo? Did you say that right? And I spelled it to her. She was like, yeah. She's a graffiti writer. I'm like, yo. So I went into the living room and I said, hey man, I shook his hand. I met him. I told him who I was. And he's like, word, man. Thank you, brother. I said, man, you're like a legend, brother. You know what I mean? And that's why, like, the way I see it, man, a lot of these legends and things like that, there wasn't a social media back then with Instagram and Facebook and stuff like that. So there wasn't a face to the name. So after all these years, man, me doing graffiti when I was a kid, to finally see him, it was a trip. And then to now, be friends with him and see, all the things he's doing. It's a trip. It's a trip to see that, man, to know and to see he has the same style of tag, the same that I do and everything else. And it's cool. It's a good dude, man. That's cool.
Yeah. So I remember seeing them perform that night over at Sunsets, the PPK.
As PPK?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Because they did a mural in there, a Phoenician P-Funk Clan.
Wow. Okay. See, I don't even remember.
I remember
Where was that at?
Sunsets. It was just a warehouse, man. It was on Grand Avenue. It was on Grand Avenue and
like off at 35th or
like
so.
40th Avenue.
Okay.
In Grand, and there was like some warehouses, and this dude rented it out and started throwing these little warehouse parties there. Wow. I don't remember his name. Remember his name?
I remember his name.
What was his name?
I don't want to say it.
Yeah. So that's where I first seen them perform, and that's where I first seen Melo DJ.
Yeah, that's where. Yeah, that's where you.
I had only met Melo like maybe a week or two before that show.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I met him through Rico and Mark.
Oh, yeah,
the twins. Shout out. That was my old bandmates. I used to be in the band with them.
Yeah.
So we used to rock out.
Yeah, I knew them through Echo too, and I remember I would go to Metro Tech and just hang out in their classes, and I didn't even have the classes with them.
Well, actually, that's the second time I met Melo was through Rico and Mark. The first time was through Faustina.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
That was the first time.
You're talking about Faustino Mesa, right?
Yeah.
I went to Murphy 1 with her when I was younger.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Shout out Faustina. That's the homie.
Hey, hell yeah.
Right on. So I got a question for you, man. So what was your role in Moomba?
Moombaton.
Yeah, Moombaton.
This dude, Dave Nara.
What is it?
Dave Nara.
And what was your role in it?
He started slowing down some records, the legend has it that he was at a party and a ditching party for his cousins, and the DJ that was on before him was playing bachata, reggaeton, stuff like that, and he had all these Dutch house songs that he was gonna play, this up tempo stuff. He kind of got feeling like, this ain't gonna work here, and anyways, long story short, he slowed down the records and played them at -8, and he made some edits, and I was online, I downloaded them, checked them out, and I was like, yo, this is like the stuff I'm playing, it was like a reggaeton but electronic and with a lot of throw your hands up samples and things like that, Latinos, and I was up my alley, and it was right time. I hit him up online. I was like, yo, man, is this something you're trying to keep for yourself, or like, do you care if I put out some edits? Because I got some. And he's like, oh, let me hear them, put them up. Yeah, he's like, put them up. Real encouraging. And from there, just kept making edits, which I didn't even really know how to use software or nothing back then, or I was still pausing and on the mini disc. Remember the mini disc?
He was the mini disc master too.
On the mini disc, bro. And I mean, those edits got some noise. They made a little noise online and got a little name out there for me to let me go out and play in other cities. And
yeah, dope.
It was cool.
He's being pretty modest, man. He got a big name out for him.
Wow.
So I wouldn't say that, but
I would. I mean, like when you would at that time, you look up Moombaton and Melo was always in the top of the list. So as far as like the edits and remixes, so I'm gonna give him his props.
Where's the genre now? You know what I mean? Has it taken off? Is it still?
I think it's still out there. I don't really follow it too much anymore. Mm-hmm. Hate to say, I just moved on. Into other stuff, more mellow type music, I guess. But yeah, it's still out. I hear Moombaton remixes of every song nowadays.
There's so many subgenres of Moomba now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a EDM version, but hyped, but not fast, like what people would call techno, or I mean, it's just slower. It's
So check it out. Anybody check it out. Moombaton. Look up DJ Melo Moombaton, and you'll see his work for sure.
So back in the day, Tranzo was also letting me know that you were a resident DJ at Jackson's on 3rd. Was that one of your first gigs? That when you kind of really like were out there and doing it?
Nah, my first real gig was at Macayo's. Downtown Macayo's. Yeah, that was fun.
The one on Central, right? No.
Yeah.
Happy Hour Fridays, man.
Fridays, happy hour. And I was there Thursdays and I think Saturdays too. But Friday was the jumping night. And man, I think I still DJ like that, just DJing to people that aren't, except for the hyped up nights. But I'm saying DJing for a restaurant where you just kind of get to play what you want and set a vibe, Yeah. But yeah, Macayo's, Jackson's on 3rd. I got a little after that. I was there, I don't know, about 6 years maybe.
Wow.
I don't know.
That's a long time. It wasn't Jackson's on 3rd. It was separate, right? It was like 3 different rooms.
It was 3 rooms. I did the Latin room.
Okay.
M2 used to do the big room, which was like broadcast on Power 92. Yeah. Power 92, and then
shout out M2. I'm supposed to have M2 out here too.
Oh, word, man, that's good peeps. Yeah. And then I forgot who was outside. Mikey Mike was outside with my boy Roberto Dominguez. And that's who pulled me in there. That dude was a dude on a Spanish radio station that he would play like stuff like Shakira and Elvis Crespo and Latin music, but he would mix it. And this is at the end of the 90s, 99, around that time. And I didn't know there was CDJs, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I called him up on the radio. I'm like, yo, man, I'm a DJ, this and that. How you doing this? He's like, with CDs. I'm like, oh, I thought it was vinyl. And he's like, nah, it's CDs. And anyways, yeah, he got me in there in Jackson's on 3rd. Big up, Roberto.
Yeah.
So what did you finish up with them? Like, when they closed up, did you go all the way up until they closed their doors?
Yeah, I was there till the end.
Wow.
The end, yeah.
Were you there the last night?
Probably. I don't know. Probably, yeah.
Wow.
He's like so many shows.
That place was popping, man.
Yeah,
I remember that place. I remember going in and be like, damn, I can go in 3 different rooms, and, have 3 different, sounds. You know what I mean?
I was in Adrian's club hopping days.
Yeah, man, back in the day, man. So after Jackson's on 3rd, where'd you go next?
Caramba. I was working at both, actually.
Shout out, John.
Caramba. Yeah, what up, John? Yeah, Tranzo would do early while I was at Jackson's on 3rd.
Yeah.
And then I would do after hours. What was it, like 2 to 4 or something like that?
2 to 4 or 5.
No, I was like
something.
1 to. Remember, drinking stopped at 1. It's like 1 to 3 or something like that. 1 to 4.
I think it was 1 to 4.
Could have been something like that. Yeah. Yeah. Caramba nightclub. Yeah.
Dope. What about at this point in your career? Were you traveling? Were you getting invited to go to different cities? You know what I mean? To actually guest spot with some of the DJs.
No, not really. Caramba, that was like I caught the end. That's when I started working on the Mumbaton stuff. I was at Caramba, and I mean the people liked it, but the owners didn't really like it, and I don't know. I mean they just kind of wanted to switch more to like a pop music, and I wasn't into it, and I figured I'll try to find something else. But yeah, I went through a couple years of not really working too much. And then I was able to go to Hanny's, the restaurant. That's where I've been.
Where year did you go to Hanny's?
I'm thinking maybe like 2015-ish, 2016.
So that's like
maybe
6-7 years ago.
I'm thinking like 7 or 8 years ago. I've been there.
Nice.
I'm not sure though. Not quite sure. I have to look it up.
That's a good gig.
Yeah, it is. What do you spend there?
I mean, and you still have it after the whole COVID era.
Yeah.
I was lucky. I was real lucky. My boy Josh there, he let me stay there, so I appreciate that.
Shout out Josh.
He let me work. Man. That was
it was hard for DJs, man, especially if that was your your full-time money.
Yeah.
It was super hard for DJs.
Is that what you do? You're full-time DJ?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
That's dope, man. That's really dope to be doing your passion. You know what I mean? And to still have, that gig considering everything that's happened during COVID.
Melo hasn't worked since Warehouse.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember during the COVID,
I used to go see Melo at the Warehouse when he worked at the Warehouse over at Maryville.
The one on 51st?
Yeah.
Really? You worked there?
Yeah.
Oh, damn. I remember that place. I remember that spot.
I mean, who else would be better, man? He knew all the music. You just ask Melo and he'd tell you exactly what shelf it was and everything.
So at Hanny's right now, what are you spinning? You know what I mean? What do you find that a lot of the people in there are digging? And
man, I don't even know what to call it.
It's hard to explain.
It's just chill, not chill like chill out room music. It's like stuff with dance beats, but the energy is not like EDM where it's all. And then not necessarily house either, but the beats kind of sound like a house, I would say. I don't know what to even call that music, to be honest.
Not funk, but it sounds like funk, and not alternative, but it sounds like alternative.
Yeah, but then I mix in like modern funk and old classics and a little bit of hip hop too, sometimes just beats for like an hour, just people are just eating, or drinking and if there's not that many people in there, I try to keep it jazzy, smooth, I don't know,
sure.
And then if there's a lot of people in there, the energy goes up, and we affect each other, we feed off each other.
Sure, that's dope.
Yeah.
And then also too, I see that you're part of the Aquanet Sundays as well.
I've DJed a couple times with them, with Tricky and M2 and them. Yeah.
Word.
Big up.
That's a dope place, man. You should go check it out if you're like, like freestyle music, you like that old electro.
Yeah, they're doing that.
You like that old R&B 80s style, like straight up.
Yeah, I still haven't rocked disco there yet, but yeah.
I think it's mostly like 80s style music, right? Mostly just 80s.
Yeah, what they're doing, I guess, I don't know. I've only been there a couple times, but I mean, I know Aquanet sets, like, through tapes I would get from California, and it was always like freestyle, electro, a little bit of R&B, like pre-New Jack Swing kind of R&B, you know, like from maybe from 86 to 1989 maybe kind of. And then, I mean, the Aquanet sets had, you know, Latin house and, you know, what they call deep house in LA and you know, high energy disco, that kind of stuff. But I'm not sure the guys here are going all out like that. I think they're kind of just reading the crowd and seeing what works.
Yeah.
What works, yeah.
Keeping it going and stuff. Yeah, that's dope, man. You know, I really appreciate like a lot of that older music, man, and some classics and you know, to chill with, you know what I mean? So I'm definitely going to check that out at the Aquanet Sundays. That's at the
Womack,
right?
At the Womack, yeah.
Yep, shout out Dumper.
Yeah, Dumps.
So if people want to like, you know, see you, man, and follow you, man, and follow kind of your journey and you know, the different places that you're going to and stuff, do you have an Instagram or anything like that maybe you can drop on here?
Yeah, I think I'm on all the social medias. I'm probably under AZ DJ Melo.
Okay.
AZ DJ MELO. Except, I don't know. I don't really know. Yeah, pretty much. That's it. I don't really post too much stuff anymore, but you know.
If you want to laugh, follow his Twitter.
You have a Twitter?
Yeah, but I haven't been on there in years.
It used to be hilarious, dude. His Twitter used to be hilarious.
Oh.
The random thoughts and
yeah.
So anything in your future, man, you know, that you're, you know, got in store for yourself, or you know, you're kind of content, kind of good right now what you're doing. You have any big plans or anything that you want to share with us?
Man, on the real, I have no idea what's coming up in the future, man. Like I don't know. I'm getting old, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. I like what I do at Hanny's, but you know, I can't see myself this gray-haired old man, you know, always being up there. You know, I don't know.
Yeah. I do.
you know, it's crazy because I just was talking to a friend about this the other day. I was like, I think I'm gonna stop at 60. You know, because I paint murals and graph. You know, I'm like, that's when I'm really gonna stop. I can barely like handle the ladders right now, so I'm the one to get on the phone to get the lift. Right? Got to get a lift, man. Got to put that in the budget. But you know, I don't think it'll ever stop. You know what I mean? I think it'll always. You know, I got the gray beard, man, and sometimes I feel out of place. You know what I mean? Like, damn, I'm old, brother. You know what I mean? But I think just, you know, we've been rocking it this long, man. The three of us, you know, DJing and graffiti art, man, and got a lot of love for it, man. You know what I mean? I think that. I'm going to continue as long as I can, brother.
That's good.
You know what I mean? Until I can't climb no more, you know?
Yeah.
And now I find myself doing things like painting and doing workshops with people where I'm starting to wanting to teach and inspire people.
That's cool.
And that's my question to you. Do you have anyone that's kind of under your wing right now, somebody that you know, are teaching and giving this knowledge to, you know what I mean, so that, you know, that you can pass the torch to them?
Nah, not really. I don't think so. Hate to say it. Nah. You know, I live kind of far, you know.
Yeah.
I live pretty far, unless somebody out there. But I've always wanted to teach, and I've always thought about what my technique would be to teach somebody to do, you know, to at least learn the basics, you know. But nah, I don't think I've ever taught or inspired anybody, unless they just saw me do what I do, which I like that when people just stand there and watch, you know, and
Sure.
You kind of start twisting knobs, but you're actually doing something so they could see, you know, that this does something, you know, when you turn it or when you move it a certain way, and you know. But yeah, no, man, I would like to be a mentor, but you know,
I think it's a perfected craft, man. There's a lot of love that goes into that. You know what I mean? Whether it's, you know, painting or DJing or whatever, man. And do you think it has something to do with just like our era, man? Just, you know, social media, things like that. There's just a disconnect. You know what I mean? Like, because sometimes I feel that way too. I feel like the things I've learned, like I would like to teach. You know what I mean? But I don't think anybody's gonna hold that attention for that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just an old ass dinosaur, bro. You know what I mean? But you know, people can, you know, new artists coming in, they can apply that, you know, and get inspired by you as well. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. You know what I mean? Do you think maybe there's a disconnect with people? You know what I mean? Because I mean, hip hop is big. You know, the hip hop culture, and we're always inspiring and we're always mentoring people and stuff. And you know, maybe some people are intimidated. You know what I mean? To come up to like maybe a DJ or MC and ask like, hey man, can you teach me that? You know what I mean? You'll find it. I find it at least there's a lot more DJs and breakers, b-boys and b-girls, than there is graffiti artists and DJs. You know, correct me if I'm wrong. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I don't feel that way. I feel like there's a lot more graffiti artists than there are.
Like the youth. I'm saying like the younger kids.
Yeah. I mean, when you talk about DJing, you know, I'm talking about the culture DJing, the hip hop DJs. You know, which is, you know, there's 1,000 DJs, but there's only like so many real culture hip hop DJs who are putting into the craft of mixing and scratching. Yeah. And a lot of the DJs nowadays, they're not adopting that craft. Yeah. So as far as hip hop DJs, I think it's I think it's about equal. Yeah. I feel as far as the culture of DJs, you know. Yeah.
Do you see
hip hop wise? I'm talking about.
Yeah. So Melo, do you see like you know, a lot of upcoming DJs that you're like, okay, that's dope. You know what I mean? They're adding something a little bit different to the hip hop culture, and they're bringing something. You know, because you're seeing graffiti evolve. If you look at a lot of the graffiti art that's being done now, like all these, the way I see it too, a lot of the younger generation, man, they have everything, bro. You know what I'm saying? They could walk into a graffiti shop and they have all the different caps and all the different things, the YouTube videos. We didn't have none of that, man. Yeah. So they do. You know what I mean? So I guess, man, like, you know, what do you think, man? Like the disconnect would be, you know what I mean? Do you find, you know, kids might want to do that pickup DJing? You know, would you teach? Would you know, if somebody's listening to this, like, yo, man, you know, get with Melo, maybe possibly get like a little mentorship going.
I suppose, you know, I mean, it's sort of easier now to DJ, huh? Like it's not too hard anymore. I mean, the programs will give you a lot of tools available. I'm not gonna say it's gonna do it for you. It can, but it makes it very easy. Even I'll admit with my sets, I'm watching the screen. You know, they say don't look at the screen. I want it to sound pretty close to perfect. You know, wow. and I can tell you can just by looking if a song is slightly off or what, you know. But I don't know if that's what we're talking about. Teaching or that disconnect. What were we saying? Disconnect?
Well, he's just saying, would you be open to mentoring or teaching if somebody was interested to, if they could reach out to you?
Yeah, if it was. I want to say, I don't want to use the word convenient, but yeah, I mean, you know,
as long as it all worked.
If it was somewhere around my crib or something, or if I was living closer out here, you know, but you know. That would probably be the only way, or if someone in my family or someone around me, definitely, you know. I mean, yeah, you know, it would be cool. It would be cool to just teach for a living. That would be tight. I could see that as an option, you know, because I mean, I am looking at other options. You know, I'm thinking of what I'm gonna do. You know, not that I what you were saying about graffiti and that you're saying that I know graffiti has changed too, but music and DJing, like, you know. I'm down to keep doing it if I can play what I want to play, you know? Yeah. I don't want to play what people like now. Like, you know, I have no problem with an 18-year-old liking what I play and you know, liking it. And yeah, I have no problem with that. But for me to adapt to play what they want to hear nowadays, I'm not really into that, you know? Yeah. It's not something I'm into. Yeah.
I just say you just kind of get in where you fit in, you know, if this is what you want to do and type of DJ you want to be, then there's an audience for you. Well, you just have to just get in the right space so you can shine, you know?
I would say, for example, look at someone like Degentrification, right? Like, he does what he does, and people come and dance to it, and they love him, and they
shout out Degents.
Degents, man. Yeah. That's probably the biggest, you know, that's so inspiring to me. You know, even when I was at Caramba, I was like looking at him and being like, why am I playing what the owners want me to play or this? Like, play the music you want to hear, you know? And, you know, when I get invited to play with him, you know.
I think it just takes a little bit of sacrifice and dedication and willing to build it in the way that you want to play. You know, because if you want to make the money and you want to make quick money, then you're going to play what people want you to play. Yeah. But if you want to build your craft into a style that's yours and play what you like to make you happy also along with the crowd, then, you know, it's something that you have to work at as an art, because then you're kind of an artist and you have to work at that to build your style and then for people to want that from you.
Yeah, that's dope. It's being unique, man. It's staying true to what first inspired you, and something that people want. It's different. It's just like me with art, you know what I mean? Like there's a specific way that I paint, and I don't want to conform to anything that's trendy. You know what I mean? This is what I have. This is what I do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And always trying to learn a lot more too, as well as I go in the game of art and just learning what the next trick is. The next paint that comes out, the cap, what it does. So always too trying to learn.
Yeah.
Well, if you've heard Melo play, man, you know he definitely puts his own spin on everything, no matter what he plays, man, because he's just dope. So
thanks, man. Jeez.
That's just how dope Melo is that he can play, a commercial gig, so to speak, and rock it. And then he just does amazing stuff that you're like, man, I didn't even know he was doing that. It sounds like a pre-edited, song.
See.
And this was just doing it live. Like, unless you watch him and know what he's doing, you just don't get it. But when you do know what he's doing, you're watching it, you're just like, dude, this was amazing.
That's dope, man. I gotta come check it out, man. I'm always as I'm on the podcast and we're bringing people on. I'm also, along with the listeners, I'm getting to learn about the Phoenix legends, man, and the OGs, man, and the people that have, you're putting the sounds out there, man. You're creating good memories for people that are going out there and enjoying themselves. Spending money at these places, you know what I mean, and giving them a platform to have a good time and make memories and make videos with their friends and their family and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool, man. I'll have to definitely come out and check you out.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I want to take it back again, man. Take it back. I remember the year is 1995. All right, and we threw a show called Sopa.
Yep.
Introducing our hip hop group that were coming out at the time called FNX, right?
FNX Funky Style.
Yeah, I remember that.
And so at our opening party show, we had Ilphonics out there.
That was fun.
I remember that night too. Melo dropped KRS.
What was it, like Sound of the Police or something like that?
No, it had just dropped.
In 95?
Yeah. Step Into the World.
Was it that one?
Yeah.
That might have been 96, but I'm not sure. Maybe. Yeah, you could be right.
And it was just dope, dude. Yeah.
Wow.
But anyway, so yeah, let's talk about Ilphonics.
Ilphonics, all right.
Yeah, I want to talk about Ilphonics,
Ilphonics, man. Good times, man. Good times. I mean,
who was all the roster of Ilphonics?
Ilphonics. So it started with James, Echo, his brother Johnny, Lime Tongue, or he changed his name so much.
Shout out Johnny.
Johnny G. AG, their cousin.
AG.
Well, it didn't start like that. Actually, we had LR, which was one of the ring cons from HQ. Was there anyone else? I mean, I hope I'm not forgetting anybody. I can't. And then AG, and it was just a period of just, trying to not be commercial, trying to do this bugged out Beatles type of, we weren't trying to be the Beatles, but now looking at it, a lot of the techniques and 4-track and overdubbing kind of stuff, I'm like, oh, they were doing that in the 60s? But anyways, yeah. You know what I mean? It was just an experimentation time of trying not to be commercial and hanging out with the other homies that would rap. And
so Melo was the producer. He made most of their beats.
Most maybe.
Most of their beats. Oh. And he even had a few flows on some.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He used to kick the rhymes, dude. That was dope.
Kick some flows.
So yeah, a little bit more about Ilphonics. So then you guys did a lot of shows, right?
Yeah, I would guess so, yeah. I don't remember most of them, but yeah, there was a lot of shows. And
they used to rock, what's the place on Indian School on 32nd Street, 24th Street?
Was that the Rebel?
It's the Rebel Lounge now.
Rebel Lounge.
But what was it before?
Mason Jar.
The Mason Jar.
Mason Jar.
That's a legendary place right there, man.
That was when Chino D was doing that. Yeah.
That's when Chino D had hip hop night.
What was it? Tuesday? Monday?
It was Thursday, I think. Thursday? It was Tuesday or Thursday.
It was like early in the week. I think it was maybe.
And I remember I was excited because the engineer, I think he was the bassist for Sacred Right, man, which is...
Oh, really?
Yeah, which is another legendary, famous metal Phoenix group.
Was that the guy that Chino was yelling on the mic? Hey, sound man!
Probably. Chino,
what's up with my mic?
Chino yell at everybody on the mic all the time. He'd be like, I got the mic.
It's mine tonight. Yeah, that was fun, man. That was fun.
Those are the days, man.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Remember we'd have like 4 turntables up there. Me, you, Smite. Who else came with us?
I was the resident, so I was always there. And Melo was always coming through.
Do you remember some of the guests? I remember like Supermarket and Jimmy and them would come through. And
that's where I met Lyrical G's and G Click.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And KG.
KG
would perform there. I don't remember who all the other groups were.
Man, I'm trying to remember too. You know who I remember?
Chino D and Rise.
Remember DJ Earth? He had a group too. Remember Rest in Peace Earth? I remember. I have a video somewhere, and I have a little footage somewhere still. I bought a VCR at the thrift store.
Yeah.
And I started throwing on my tapes, and the VCR worked. And
wow,
I have some footage, and a lot of old footage, and a lot of stuff from TV. And
Chino D used to record all the shows on tape.
Oh yeah, okay.
So he's got like a whole box full of tapes from like '98 and all the performances.
That was tight.
Man, you got to be disciplined to document all that stuff. You know what I mean? To set up every time.
So they had the engineer had the whole tape deck already there, patched in. So he just would bring him a tape, and the guy would just hit record.
That's right. Did I bring the mini disc back then too? I think I did.
I don't think we had them. I don't remember.
I think I did because I got it around then. I remember because my tape deck broke, and I took it back to Circuit City, and they're like, "Well, we don't have." I had a warranty. I had paid for the warranty, and they're like, "Well, we don't have a tape deck right now, but we got this open box mini disc recorded." I was like, "All right, I'll take that." And so I took it, and it worked. It was a little janky, but it worked.
I had a little one.
The little ones, the little Walkman.
The Walkman ones. Yeah. That's the one I had.
I think those are better. I think
it was clear. I mean, before that, I was using the reel-to-reel. So
wow,
it
was big mixing board.
I had the 2 reels, and I had my big mixing board with my 4-track. And
I don't remember the reels. Yeah, man. Did you ever splice?
No, I would just hit record, and we would like do 4-hour recordings of everybody rapping. And
have you ever seen like with the?
I lost all them tapes. I don't know what happened to them tapes, man.
Have you ever seen with like any like documentaries with like Latin rascals how they used to splice their stuff in New York and taping like one beat, like
yeah, it's too much.
Have one beat 8 times on the wall, and they would just grab the tape and splice it together. You know what I mean?
Wow.
I cannot
It's like
imagine.
science, dude. It's crazy.
They had quarter notes and all this just to make those rapid fire edits. Like
they sit there with an exacto.
Wow.
Yeah, they would just do it all for. I would think the records would get messed up from rewinding it. You know what I mean? Like imagine every edit is a little degraded and degraded and degraded.
Wow.
So I remember doing a show with Ophonics at that show, the one we opened up with, the 95 show.
So
we did a show in Yuma with them. That was an adventure.
Didn't we do Douglas, or was that the same?
No, that wasn't. That was a different one.
Douglas? I don't know.
And we just did a bunch of ones here, man. A bunch of Phoenix shows.
Yeah, that soap opera party was dope though. Remember, it was like hip hop. The first half we had performances, and then you and Trek probably, I think, started playing house music after that. And this was at the height of the party crew days when girls would come out and it was just one love. It was great. It was like,
well, we got the space to throw a DJ party, and they were like, well, we don't have our dance permits, so we can't have live dancing.
Oh, really?
We can only have performances. And we're like, all right, we'll have some performances, and then we'll have dancing. Once they're there, it's too late. Fuck them. Mm-hmm. I mean, forget them. Wow. So I mean, and so yeah, so then that's when we said we'll come out with our group. And then we had Alphonics perform, dude. They killed it, and then we just banged the wax after that.
Wow.
Did I play? Do you know if I played? I don't think
I
played. Huh?
You did. You played a hip hop set.
I did.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah. At that time, I wasn't buying house records no more, and
that's why I remember that you dropped that record.
Yeah.
I believe it was that one. I'm pretty sure it was that one.
I used to always rock what was the B-side? The you can't get BB on the mic, do re mi mi mi. Remember that? The acapella? What was that? Hip hop versus rap. Yeah. It wasn't that one? It wasn't that? No? Okay.
I'm sure you played that too though.
Yeah. Oh man, that was fun. Man, I miss DJing like that. You know what? I listen to my old tapes though. I still have all my old mixtapes from the 90s.
You got tapes like galore.
I think they're whack.
This boy used to put out like 10, 20 mixtapes a week.
Wow.
I don't know about that, but like,
I think we get too busy like making content. I catch myself doing that too. Like I like to look back and reminisce, you know, whether it's older photos, you know what I mean, and then also like Instagram posts from last year. You know what I mean? We're just set out there, man. We just get inspired and we just put it out. You know what I mean? Just boom, boom, boom. One of my last questions for you, man. You know, talking about you know, like the history and stuff, and all the years and the time that you put in to DJing, man. Are there some things like some jams, some albums, turntables, something, man, that is just, it's a gem to you, man? Something that you've had, that you have, like, you know, kind of like because I have like a mini graph museum at home, you know, a little small one. Dope. Do you have anything like that, man, that you've had through all these years, man, that just like, that's your like holy grail? Maybe it's an album signed by somebody and you're like, yo, man, you know?
The Ilphonics record.
Yeah. I mean, you know,
you can't even buy it, you know.
Even if it's your own stuff.
Ilphonics has a record, and you can't even buy it, man. And if you want to buy it, it's like almost $100 now.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, my collection as a whole, I love it. You know what I mean? I just love having all that stuff and memories, you know, and I mean, I have so many records, and I like categorizing them and putting them away and looking at them and listening to them, and they're pretty beat up though. A lot of the old ones, you know, especially the ones I would use, you know.
So that would be your collection of jams.
That, I mean, I have a nice tape collection that I love. You know, I love my tape collection.
I got a few of those.
Yeah, you know, just stuff, demo tapes, you know, Phoenix groups, and you know, I don't have that many, but I have a few.
He's got a whole crate of just hip hop from Phoenix.
Wow.
I got about maybe a half a hip hop crate from Phoenix groups, and you know, on vinyl and you know, stuff like that. I like my DVDs.
We'll have to bring them in and just to bring those one day.
Yeah. I'd love to share all that stuff with you. Sure. Man, just, you know, I don't know. Yeah, throw flyers and all that. You know.
Well, dope, man. We appreciate you coming on, man. It's an honor.
Thanks, G.
to share our story with us, brother. This is What's Good Phoenix. I'm Awer.
DJ Tranzo.
Hey now.
My man, DJ Melo.
We'll see you next time on the Flippity Flop.
Oh, yeah.
Get it. Come on, Melo. We out. Peace, suckers.